Thank you, Aaron. Now, I had to stretch a little bit to start this session, so I'm pretty sure that we all after lunch feel a little bit stiff, right, and sitting in our chairs and whatnot. And I wanna us all to move a little bit. And last year I learned a new skill. It's a dance. It's called bachata, and I'm gonna teach you how to do a basic step in bachata, but that means that you all need to stand up, okay? Okay, and it's easy. It's not difficult at all. So this is what it looks like. You go 1, 2, 3, tap, 5, 6, 7, tap. Okay? So can we do this together? Actually, I'll go the other way. I'll do a girl step so you can mirror me, okay? So we go 1, 2, 3, tap, 5, 6, 7, tap. Okay? So let's do this a little bit faster, okay? 1, 2, 3, tap, 5, 6, 7, tap. 1, 2, 3, tap, 5, 6, 7, tap. Awesome. Okay, so now we're gonna do another thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a turn. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? Can we try that together? Okay, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're all still alive. That's really good. Now we're gonna do something that is called a wave. So we go this 1, 2, 3, tap, 5, 6, 7, tap. Okay? So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, tap, 5, 6, 7, tap. Bravo. Okay, so tonight at the party, I want to see some of those skills that you learned today, okay? We are going to talk a little bit about overcoming objections, and I'm really glad that I didn't have any objections right now to start us off with. And few years ago, I heard somebody say that we should fall in love with no. And I was thinking, how crazy do you have to be to love rejection, to love somebody saying no? And I was saying, I was a sales coach at the moment, and I was saying people, you don't, completely wrong. I was completely wrong about that. You have to be crazy not to love no, but you have to learn how to manage it and deal with it and not to take it personally. A few years later, I actually fell in love with no, and I think that the rejection, as we all can agree, is one of the major parts of our business, but that part of our business always brings us to results. And when it comes to objections, one of the things that may prevent us in enjoying this business is exactly that thing, rejection that we face. What if we were able to make it fun? You know, to make it fun when people reject us. And I guess one of the things that brings up concerns in us when we speak with people, we may invite somebody and they say, okay, I'll come to your presentation. They see the presentation and then we do the follow-up and it all works out okay. And then, you know, that dreadful moment when you shut up and then they start talking. We all love that part, right? Well, not really, at least not at first. But what happens as we get more experience and as we learn how to respond to those objections and the rejection that we face, then it starts to become a little bit fun, right? Because at one moment, you know exactly what you're doing. And when you know what you're doing, no matter what the result is, you know that you've done your best. Because there is one thing that we can't take away from people, and that is their free choice. They are the ones ultimately who decide what they're going to do. So our job is to help them see what it is that we have to offer. So when we talk about an objection, I said that it's anything that stands in the way of a person to see what it is that we really have, right? Because from our perspective, what we have, you'd have to be crazy not to use our products, and you'd have to be crazy not to share in the business opportunity that we have, right? Do we have, can we have an agreement on this one? Because we have an amazing thing in our hands. I mean, I can't, like every night on my knees, I thank God for introducing me to Rain. I think for Aaron, after I rejected him 7 times, 8th time, he brought me into the company. So he's a great example of this as well. So this is an objection, anything that stands in a way to people to see what it is that we have. So how not to create an objection, that is one of the things that we do. And one way we do this is the way we present. So the way we present, we touch upon the most common objections that people have. But still, during the presentation is still a filter, you know. We don't want to have to talk to every single person unless they really want this. Those people who don't want this, our presentation should filter those people out, right? And those who go through the presentation are in the follow-up, those are the people that have a desire, that have heard or seen something that tweak their interest, and we need to be there for them. And after that, after they've seen presentation, we do a follow-up and helping people overcome, or us helping them overcome their prejudices that they might have. This is our job. This is what we do. And when we talk about not creating an objection after the presentation, the question that we may ask ourselves is, what is our most common objection? I know, I remember talking to Vanya, and we were talking about one of the greatest objections that she had was the product was too expensive. And it took her about 7 or 8 months, right, to get over that objection. You know what she realized? She thought, a part of her brain, you know, thought that it might be a little bit expensive, right? And so what happened after that? It was not an issue anymore, even if people didn't have money, because she believed that the product had value. People didn't have money, but they would say, I don't have money right now, but at my next paycheck, I will buy. So it was not a no anymore, but it was like, I don't have it now, but I will buy the product, because she didn't think it was too expensive anymore. One of the things that I had, since I've been in network marketing industry for quite a while on the corporate side, and I knew all those things, and I've seen people, how they roll and how some people are successful, how some people aren't. And then I joined as a partner, and then I had all this background knowledge. And one of the things that I was facing is like, I don't think that I can learn all that, because it took me 10, 11 years to join as a distributor after being on corporate side. So I knew about the industry. I knew that the industry was great. And I thought, how can I help other people? It took me 11 years to realize this and to make this decision. How can somebody make this decision overnight? You know, and I was having this objection until I realized it's not about me. It's about the process and system. And if they like what they see, just trust the system. And that's when I stopped hearing this excuse that people would give me. So what is the most common objection you face? It is the one that you still carry with you. Dig deep into yourself, see what are the things and suspicions and prejudices that you might still have. And we all have some little thing in our lives that may prevent us or carry something like this. Let's clean ourselves out of those things, and we will stop having excuses. We will get true objections that we can easily deal with later on. So another thing about the objections is, how do we respond to the objection? Sometimes I remember first objections that I faced, I actually wanted to strangle some of the people that I was talking with. They got to me, to my nerves so strongly that I was like, you know, I hated that feeling, but it was like, I felt helpless in certain situations until I learned how to handle that. So when I talk about an objection now, and the way we should respond to an objection, we can see something as a very critical, catastrophic thing that is happening. Oh no, they're asking me a question, or oh no, that's again about pyramid and things like this. And I can get frustrated about that. Or I can take another route and see, okay, so this person is coming from the state of ignorance. This person doesn't know what he or she is talking about. Because if they're talking about pyramid and they're talking about rain, they're obviously wrong. So in order to correct this wrong, what is my role here? I'm an educator. I'm the one that needs to educate them and show them what it is that we are, and that it has nothing to do with the ideas or prejudices that they might have. So this is one way to react to an objection. Another way, when we do a follow-up and people have questions, they have concerns, they have these objections, we should see this as a gift. Why? Because if a person doesn't respond and just turns away, we don't learn anything. We don't know why they didn't join us or buy the product. But if they say anything, we should really be grateful for that. Why? Because if that really is the reason, we have the answer, right? If they say that they don't have money, we have an answer for that. If they say that they don't have time, we have an answer for that, and we can show them how to create money or time, right? So these are the things. So this is a gift, the precious things that are actually giving us, and they wouldn't give it to us unless there is something that they're interested in and that there is something that they want. And our job is to help people get what they want, right? So this is the thing. Another our response to the objection should be that when they have a problem, even if they get loud, if they get frustrated or nervous, and they're not leaving, this is a call for help, because there is something that is giving them pain in their life. And they thought when they met us that we were going to help them. Then they saw the presentation and they did not get the full answer that they expected. So what happens there? We are there. We need to be the not the one that wants to strangle them like I did at the beginning. We need to be the compassionate one and be the one who is going to show them the way, to show them what it is that we have so that they can understand. And as we talk about these things, there are always, sometimes we speak of the same thing, but we come from different perspectives. As this picture shows, we may talk about the same things. We may have a completely different experience about that. And as we do that, we need to be often the ones who's going, like in this situation. One person is seeing 6, another person is seeing 9. If I'm the one seeing 6, what I need to do, I need to walk over and say, hey, I understand what you're seeing and you're right. Then take them by the hand, pull them to our side and show them, okay, this is what I see. And if what I see is an answer to your problem, then that's the solution. And if we're able to show them this, then it's a win-win for both them and us. And there are two main reasons, often they may be as unreasonable as they can be, that may prevent someone from joining our business. And it is lack of confidence, on lack of belief in themselves. And another one is limiting beliefs about what it is that we do. So those might be prejudices. And I'm going to show you a list. There is a bunch of those. I'm pretty sure that you're familiar with those for themselves. They don't have money. They don't have time. They have a job that is in the way, and because they're focused on that, they can't do anything else. Have you heard these before? Yeah. No experience, don't know anyone, the product is too expensive, all those things. And we should be compassionate about those things, because there are people who are RAIN partners who are not here because of some of these reasons. Because they could not see how beneficial and how great of an investment this event would be. So when we talk about these, we should understand this, because all of us have experienced something like this in our lives. But on the other side, we need to know that this is not the truth. So when a person says that they have no money, what is it that they're actually telling us? That the value that we have presented did not match what they expect. So there's like, I can buy a box of matches, and I don't know, maybe, I don't know how much it costs, maybe 50 cents or 30 cents, a box of matches. But if somebody wants to sell it to me for €1, and euro is not a lot of money, but I'm not going to give €1 for a box of matches that costs 30 cents, right? So this is a perception of value. And I've known people, I've had, at the beginning of my career, when I trusted people that they don't have money, I would invite somebody, they would love the presentation, they would love everything. And then when they needed to join, oh, wow, I have to pay €310 for a builder's pack. I don't have that kind of money. 2 months later, they invite me to join a crypto scheme, and they invested €5,000 into this. And 2 months earlier, they didn't have €310 to do this. So when people tell you that they don't have money, don't believe them. Because if they want it bad enough, they will find money for it. So create stronger value. The second thing, no time. We are offering them more time through what we do, through the knowledge, through the skills, through the changing habits, through getting rid of 4 hours a day watching TV and building a business that can make them a lot of money and a lot of time in the future, right? So this is what we offer, and all those things. On the side of network marketing, this is a pyramid. Only those on top earn. I lose my friends. This is illegal. Don't know anybody. Nobody makes money. Have you heard any of these? So when we hear this and we know what it is that we have, is this true? None of it is true. So they're not saying the truth, but we can't tell them that they are liars because they're not actually lying. This is what they think or believe, unless they're using this as an excuse. But if this is something that they believe, then they are coming from the point of ignorance, and it is our job to educate them. Now, it is not easy to tell a person you are wrong, and let me tell you what's right, right? It's not easy to say that. So in order to be able to remove the blindness from the eyes of the people, to remove those obstacles that are preventing them to see, we need to use some skills, right, for them to hear. And it is important for us to learn those skills. And for some people, this comes naturally because they have had a lot of debates and a lot of discussions with people. For most people, it does not come naturally. But if it is a skill, it is something that can be learned, and every person in this room can learn these skills. Now, I have a limited amount of time, and I have few skills that I want to share with you, and I'm going to start with them. And there are 5 different tactics that we can use and play with. And out of between these 5, I don't think that there is any concern that we cannot tackle with one of these 5 tactics. So one of the tactics is repeat the question. Actually, I'm not going to number them now. For the time's sake, I'm going to go straight into each one of them. So repeating a question. Let's say you meet a prospect and the prospect says, I don't have the time. And instead of going, what do you mean you don't have time? We just empathically ask and repeat the question, say, you don't have time? And then wait. We just shut up and wait as long as it takes for them to start talking. And when they start talking, they are going to explain us their situation. They're going to tell us why they believe that they don't have time. And once they say their reasons, we know why they believe this, right? And if we know why they believe this, then we can do something about that. So when they explain what it is, we just say this following thing. I'm so glad that you share that with me. Why do we do this? Because no matter what they say, we can use this sentence. If they give us a real reason, we can say this. If they give us an excuse, we can still say this. Why? Because when we say, I'm so glad that you share that with me, first thing that happens, it changes the atmosphere of the conversation. We make it positive. And then after that, we can touch upon every single thing that they have mentioned, and we can resolve one of those concerns. So this is how we start. They tell us their concern, We we repeated what they said as a question. Then they explain it to us, and we say, "I'm so glad that you share that with me." And once we hear that, we can then talk about a specific issue or a thing. The second method is a developed version of the 3F method. And when we talk about 4F, this is feel, felt, found, and then flow. Feel, felt, found is something that some people have used very successfully. Some people have not been able to find the way how to use it naturally, and then they think that it doesn't work. But if you can master this, this is one of the most beautiful ways to get people to listen. I'm a strong believer in a 4F method because it has worked for me on numerous occasions. And once we master this skill, it becomes natural. For some people who speak with more authority, they will do it with a little bit more authority, but still people will feel empathy and will be curious about what we have to say. For those people who are naturally empathic, this will come just like natural thing. The tone of voice and everything is going to flow into that. So when we talk about feel, felt, found, this is the principle behind it. So when we tell people that we can understand what they feel, we tell them that we see them. They feel that they are understood. And when they feel they're understood, then it's a first step in their psychology that is going to make them listen a little bit more to what we have to say. Then the second thing that we can do, we can share our personal experience, or what I prefer, refer to some other people who have had exactly the same situation as they have. And what will happen there in their mind, we will cause them to think, okay, so I'm not alone in this problem. There were other people who have had the same problem as I have. And then if they were able to resolve this problem, then I'm interested to hear what it is. And then they or I found the solution, and then we activate the listening part of their mind. Because if somebody says, I don't have money, and we say, of course you have money, they're not listening. No matter what you say, they will not listen because they are stuck in their belief. But if you tell them something like, I can totally understand where you're coming from. I live in this country and I know what the situation with pricing is generally and how prices are going up. So do they feel understood? Yes. And I often engage with, just yesterday, I've had a customer who said exactly the same thing, and it was an issue, and I can understand that. But as we continue to talk about it, they found that there is a way for them to try this product risk-free. And then I talk about 30-day guarantee, or I talk about how, if it's a partner, how they can use products for free in the future, and all those things. But what happened before I say the solution, I have to get them to listen, and this is how 3F flows. And then after I say what I plan to say, then I just ask them, does that make sense? And it often does, because they heard the solution now, as if before they would not have been listening because they were so stuck in their prejudice or their wrong belief about whatever it is that was their objection. So here are some examples. I can understand that. A lot of people I work with had the same thought when they first started to think about doing this business. Soon they find that the main reason is that they are exchanging time for money in their current job. However, all successful people use two elementary principles: system and leverage. That means a system that in the long run works without you, which gives you an opportunity to leverage your time. Network marketing uses exactly this principle. So in your case, this is an ideal way to, are you listening now as a prospect? Yes, because you are here, you are at this step of a follow-up and of the prospecting process. You are here and you're listening this because this is something that you want. You just don't have enough belief or courage or confidence to engage as a partner. And we finish with, does it make sense? So with customers, similar to what I explained earlier, for the I don't know anybody, I understand you. The subject of context is really important. And your feeling is not an unusual one. Most of us experience either not having a lot of contacts or not realizing how big of a pool we have. And now, do we activate their curiosity a little bit? Yes, because they feel understood. And then we find out or learn that getting to know the people is a skill that everyone can learn. And that's exactly what our team has to offer in terms of information and coaching in all aspects of networking. Are you interested to hear more now? Yes. So this is how we use this skill. But remember, it's a simple formula, but we need to adjust it to our own personality. And how do we do that? Just go through most common concerns or objections that you have, write it down in your own words. You can copy this to start with, but write it down in your own words. And once you do that, repeat it 50, 100, 200 times. I know this in Croatian by heart, by the way. So there's so many different versions. In English, I have to read. But once you repeat it 100, 200, 300 times, depends on on the time that you have available. It becomes like a second nature to you, and you don't even think about it. I use it with my friends. I use it with my family. I used it yesterday 2 or 3 times with my team without even them or me realizing I was doing it. Just later on, oh, I used 4F method with them. And this just becomes a natural part of you. The third tactic that you can use is just pure empathy. So when we talk with people, often, especially in the beginning, they tell us that they are poor, that they don't have money, that they have this family situation. And since this business often attracts people who care about people, what we do, we make this face and we're like, I understand you. And then like, okay, I understand you. And we just let them go, you know, forgetting that we can help them get over those things that are actually a pain in their life. So when we use the empathy tactic, we go similar as a 4F, we go with the empathy, but instead of going directly into felt and found, we tell them that that's exactly why it makes sense to do this. So let's say somebody tells you that they don't have money and they're looking in your business presentation. I mean, it's so logical. Like, okay, I don't have money. And we say, I can understand that completely. But that's exactly why it makes so much sense to start now. Is this something that you want to change in your life? Yes. Well, then this is the solution. It makes sense. It's so logical. We show the understanding, and then we just invite them to act upon that, to change this. And after that, we're going to do one of two things. They're going to say, what the heck, I'm going to do my best to make it work. Or they're going to say no. And if they say no, what is that? Is that a rejection? It's another objection. And we have 2 previous skills to use, or 2 more after this, that we can tackle this no with. Okay? So this is what we do. And when we talk about the empathy, once we tell them, I can understand that completely, and that's exactly why you should use this opportunity right now. After we talk a little bit with them, and then we say something, if I show you how you can make this amount of money, if this is something that they said, wouldn't it be worth it for you? Wouldn't it get you out of this mindset of not having money? And the answer to that is always yes. And then we move on with the process. Just ask them, do you have any more questions before we start? If they say no, you just sign them up. You don't say anything else after that, because this is helping them to move forward through the process. The fourth tactic is called conditional closing. I'm pretty sure most of us have used this, especially during the COVID season, using our texts, and we would often say something, if I send you the video, would you watch it? Has anybody used that one? Yeah. So this is a conditional closing, but the conditional closing is not just a way to close somebody, but it is actually a way to overcome a certain concern. So let's say somebody says, I don't think that I'm cut out for this business. And if we tell them, if I show you that it's a lot easier than you think what you're supposed to do, would you join then? And then they say what? Of course, yes. I mean, you can't say no to this answer, to this comment, to this question. And then they say yes. And then we can ask them what they think that they need to do, or we can go directly into showing them what it is that we've done with them. So we say, okay, so we say something like, if I show you that it's not as difficult as you think, would you join this business? And then they say yes. And then we tell them, okay, so remember when I first contacted you, what did I do? And say, you send me a text. What did that text say? It invited me to watch a video, okay? Are you able and capable of doing that without learning anything new? Of course they are. They text every day on so many things and issues, and they send so many videos, photos, and pictures. So this is something that they already know. Okay, and what happened after that? And then they will say, I watched a video. And what happened after that? You contacted me and asked me what I liked best, and I told you what I liked best. Okay, and then what did I do? Well, you introduced me to that person, partner, sponsor, mentor, someone. Okay, and what did I do in the whole process? You were just connecting me with information. And we just asked them, is this something that you could do? What are they going to say? If they say no, they are lying, because it's so simple. We have the easiest job in the world when it comes to our systems. We just have to do it enough times. It is so simple. So this is how we use the conditional closing. And it's basically a principle of exchange. If we say that we are going to do something for them, if we do something for them, will they do something? Then if they say yes, then it's basically we're already close to the closing. And so when we use this technique, we can use it to get them to watch the video. We can use it to set a follow-up, or we can use it to close and to get the customer to buy a product, or to sign up as a partner. And the fifth tactic is not talking about the objection at all, because sometimes it is enough to show the person the value of what they are getting. And if they get the value, and if they're focused on the value that they are getting, is the objection or a concern that they may have important anymore? Not really. So this is how we use this tactic. So we can use it with 3 simple questions. So we start with, is there anything that is preventing you to start? And then they will say no. If they say no, we do, let me show you how you can sign up. If they say yes, then they will give us the reason. And then when they give us the reason, we just restate to make sure that we understand. And we say something like, if I understand you correctly, you don't have enough, you feel like you don't have enough skills for this. That is okay. But before we touch upon that subject, let's look at what you'd get if it would work for you. Okay. And we just ask them a simple question. If this business would work with you, what would it be worth for you? And then they will tell us, okay, I could pay off a mortgage, or I could go to this vacation with my family. I could leave my job that I hate so much, or whatever. And then after they give us the value, we say, you're saying that if this would work for you, you'd finally be able to pay off the mortgage. If you saw for sure that this works, you'd start, right? And then they would say, what would they say to this? Yes or no? If they say yes, good, we move to the next step. If they say no, this is another objection that we can tackle. So, and if we're talking about showing them how it works, these are the steps in the process. Might be a little bit different for specific teams, but this is what it usually works in network marketing. And then we just show them this text, and we tell them, I was in your place when I first started to learn about this business, and my sponsor, mentor, my friend showed me that if I did all the steps correctly, that I would be exactly where you are right now. And this is the step 5 of the concept of the process. This is the step 5 of the process. And once you're in this step, this showed me that it worked. And since you're here, it's obviously working for you too. And what are they going to say about this? If they say, okay, this makes sense, then of course we move onward and we show them how they can sign up, select the starter kit or whatnot. And if they say no, then there is something else. This was not the objection, and we need to find out what the real objection is in order to tackle it. And when we talk about all these objections and all these things, I was asked before, so isn't this manipulating people when you use skills on those things? And I'm thinking, first of all, every word that comes out of our mouth is a manipulation because it influences other people. So are you asking me, are you manipulating a person to do something wrong or to use them? Or are you using a psychology or a skill to help people see better? Because if a person has a prejudice about what we do, isn't that the saddest thing? Because we have something so precious. We have products that change lives. It has changed mine. It has obviously changed many of yours. It has changed the lives of our families. So we have something that is amazing. So, but we can't just tell them like, this is great, buy it. And, because it doesn't work that way. Because of so many fears that people may have, prejudices, because they've been offered so many things in their lives. We need to use our wit to help them to see. Once they see, we don't have to convince them at anything. If they see truly what we have, they will want it and they will join us. It is our job just to help them see. And how do we truly handle the objection? As it says here, we just handle the objection, treat him like an old acquaintance. We kindly greet him, shake his hand, and just show him the way. So now, thank you so much for your attention, and let's make it rain.